The Gaussian problems to work on for the test. First thing we want to do is convert it to a you want to convert it to its augmented matrix. So let's go and do that real quick. So we use our coefficients 1, 2, 3, -5, 2, 1, 1, 1, and then 1, 1, -1, and 8. All right, so our goal is to get it to the form 1, 0. Sorry, let's try to go back on that. Our goal is to get it to 1 here, 0, 0, and then some number here, 1, 0, number here, here, and then we want 1 and some whatever number here. So this is our goal to get it to this row echelon form. So let's go ahead and start. So our first one, there's a 1 right there, so we're good. So now let's apply. We want to use row 1, the 1, to change this 2 to a 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take row 2 equals. I'm going to multiply row 1 by -1, and I'm going to add it to row 2. So we did not affect our row 1, so it's still 1, 2, 3, and -5. Now I'm going to multiply 1 times, that should be a -2. 1 times -2 is -2. -2 plus 2 is 0. Then we have -2 times 2 is -4. -4 plus 1 is -3. And then 3 times -2 is -6. -6 plus 1 is -5. And then we have -5 times -2 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. And now we're going to rewrite row 3 because we didn't do anything to it. All right, and we got that as a 0. So that was our goal right there. Next thing, we're going to use row 1 to get rid of that 1 in row 3. So the way I would do that is row 3 equals, I would multiply row 1 by -1 and then add it to row 3. So row 1 did not change. Row 2 doesn't change. And row 3, so -1 times row 1 is 1. And then add that to 1, we get 0. -1 times 2 is -2. Add that to 1 right here, we get -1. And then -1 times 3 is -3. Add that to -1, we get -4. And then -1 times 11 is -11. Add that to 8, and we get -3. All right, let me just verify this is right. So -5 times -1 is 5. 5 plus 8 is 13. So let me fix that real quick. This right here should be 13. All right. Now I'm going to interchange rows. What is this? Rows 2 and 3. I'm going to swap them. So row 1 stays the same. Row 3 moves to row 2. And then we get row 2 moves to row 3. All right, now from here, to get this number right here to be a +1, we're going to change row 2, -1 times row 2. All right, -1 times 0 is 0, -1 times -1 is 1, -1 times -4 is 4, and then -1 times 13 is -13. All right, from here, we need to make, so this is good here. We got our 1s on diagonal, so this needs to be a 0. So we're going to take row 2, we're going to multiply that by 3. And we're going to add that to row 3 to get rid of that -3 there. So row 1 did not change. Second row does not change. And now we multiply row 2 by negative 1. So 0 times negative 1 is 0, plus 0 is 0. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. Oh, sorry, I think I said 3, sorry. So let's try that again. 0 times 3 is 0, 0 plus 0 is 0. 1 times 3 is 3, 3 minus 3 is 0. 4 times 3 is 12, 12 minus 5 is 7. And then negative 13 times 3 is negative 39. Negative 39 plus 11 is negative 28. All right, and the last thing we need to do is make this 7 into a 1. So last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take row 3. I'm going to multiply by 1/7, and that will give me the 1 I need. So row 1 does not change. Row 2 doesn't change. And now I'm going to multiply row 3 by 1/7, so 0, 0. 7 times 1/7 is 1. Negative 28 times 1/7 is negative 4. All right. Now, once I get to here, so I have my augmented matrix I need. So now I'm going to rewrite this as a system of equations. So we have x plus 2y plus 3z equals negative 5. There is no x in the second row, but we have a y plus 4z equals to negative 13. And then last, there's no x or y, but we have z equals negative 4. All right, now we're just going to plug these in. So my first one's already done. Z is equal to negative 4. Now I'm going to plug y. So let's do y in a different color. We have y, so I'm using this equation right here. Y plus 4 times negative 4 equals negative 13. Y, 4 times negative 4 is negative 16 equals negative 13. Let's add the 16 to the other side. And y equals 3. And last but not least, we'll take these 3 numbers and we get x plus 2 times 3 plus 3 times negative 4 equals negative 5. So x, 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12 equals negative 5. 6 minus 12 is negative 6. Add the 6 over, and x equals 1. So my solution would be 1, 3, and negative 4. All right, that's question number 1. And let's go to the next one. So for this one here, we're going to convert it to its augmented matrix. So we have 1, negative 2, 1, and 0. 0, 1, negative 3, negative 1. 0, 2, 5, and negative 2. All right, again, so the first one's already done, actually, and the whole column is already 0, so we're good here. The second one, you'll notice it's a 1. That one's already done. So now we need to make this 2 into a 0, and the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to change row 3, and I'm going to take negative 2 times row 1 and add that to row 2. So we're going to rewrite row 1, 1, negative 2, 1, 0. We're going to rewrite row 2, 0, 1, negative 3, negative 1. And now for row 3, so we're going to take, sorry, I see right here, this should have been row 3 equals, let me fix that, negative 2 times row 2, add that to row 3. Sorry about that. Okay, so negative 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. All right, then we have negative 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Negative 3 times negative 2 is 6. 6 plus 5 is 11. Negative, let me verify that. So negative 2 times negative 3 is 6. 6 plus 5 is 11. Okay, that's fine. And then we have negative 2 times negative 1 is 2. And then 2 minus 2 is 0. right, there we go. This number right here has to be a 1. So I'm going to move this over. I'm going to take row 3 and multiply it by 1/11. And that will give me my row I need. So I didn't change row 1. I didn't change row 2. And now I'm going to multiply row 3 by 1/11. So 0 times that is 0, 0 times that is 0. 1/11 times 11 is 1, and then 0 times that is also 0. Okay, so there's the matrix I need. Now I'm going to set up my system of equations. So x minus 2y plus z is equal to 0. There's no x in the second row, but we have y minus 3z equals -1. And then last we have z equals 0. And z equals 0 is done. So I just need to find x and y. So to get y, we use the one above it. So y minus 3 times 0 equals -1. So y equals -1. And then last we have on the top equation, x minus 2 times -1 plus 0 equals 0. So we have x plus 2 equals to 0, and x equals -2 when we subtract it. So my solution is -2, -1, and 0. All right, let's take a look at the next one. So my augmented matrix here is going to be 2, -3, 1, 1, 1, -2, 3 and 2, and then we have 3, -4, -1 and 1. All right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to interchange rows 1 and 2. All right, so when I interchange those, the top left number automatically became a 1. All right, now for the next one, I'm going to take row 1. So I'm going to change row 2. I'm going to take row 1, multiply it by -2, and add it to row 2. So -2 times row 1 added to row 2 should get the 2 in the second column to a 0. So let's rewrite row 1. And then -2 times 1 is -2. -2 plus 2 is 0. -2 times -2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. -2 times 3 is -6. -6 plus 1 is 7. -2 times 2 is -4. -4 plus 1 is -3. And then we rewrite row number 3. All right. So let's go ahead and go on to the next one. So we want to get that 3 to be a 0. So row 3 is going to equal -3 times row 1 added to row 3. So we're not doing anything to row 1. We're not doing anything to row 2. Now we're going to multiply row 2. Row 1 by -3. We're going to add that to row 2. So -3 times 1 is -3. -3 plus 3 is 0. -3 times -2 is 6. 6 minus 4 is 2. -3 times 3 is -9. -9 minus 1 is 10. -10. -3 times 2 is -6. -6 plus 1 is -5. All right, so we have that there. All right, now when you look at this, this is a 1, this is a 1. We need to get this to be a 0. So the way we're going to do that, I'm going to take row 3 equals. I'm going to multiply -2 times row 2 and add that to row 3. So I'm not changing the first one. I'm not changing the second one. I'm going to multiply -2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. -2 times 1 is -2. Plus 2 is 0. -2 times 7 is -14. -14 minus 10 is -24. -2 times -3 is 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. Alright, so whenever something like this happens, I need to verify that I did not make a mistake. So let me look through this real quick. Okay, so 2, -3, 1, 1, 1, -2, 3, 2, 3, -4, -1, and 1. Okay. So we interchanged it. 1, -2, 3, 2, 2, -3, 1, 1, 3, -4, -1, 1. Okay. So -2 times row 1. So 1, -2, 3, 2. That'd be -2 plus 2 is 0. 4 minus 3 is 1. -6. Here we go. So in this one right here, -2 times -3 is, sorry, -2 times 3 is -6. -6 plus 1, this right here should be a -5. So always got to just be careful with these here. So this here should be a -5. Okay. So then let's go and change this to a -5. All right, and let's go back over here to this now, and let's apply this correctly and see if this changes anything. So -2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is still 0. -2, 1 times -2 is -2. -2 plus 2 is 0. And I gotta change this to a -5. Alright, so -2 times -5 is 10. 10 minus 10 is 0. -2 times -3 is 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. So now, if you look at this last row right here, so I fixed a mistake. We have 0, 0, and 0. So that means there are no variables. So we're saying that 0 equals 1. And since there's no variables, that's a false statement. So this one actually has a no solution. All right, and let me see. I think we have one more. Is it just one more? Yeah, it's just one more. Okay, so for this one here, I'll write the augmented matrix. 1, -3, 1, 1, -2, 1, 3, -7, 1, -4, 2, and 0. Okay, my first one's good to go. I have to use that to remove this -2, make it a 0. So I'm going to take row 2 equals, we're going to take row 1 and multiply by 2 and add it to row 2. So we have 1, -3, 1, 1. So here we go. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. -3 times 2 is -6. -6 plus 1 is -5. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 minus 7 is -5. And we're going to rewrite the third row because we didn't change it in any way yet. Alright, there we go for that one. Alright, now for row 3, we're going to take -1 times row 1 and add it to row 3. So let's first start by rewriting row 1 because we're not changing it. We're not changing row 2. And then for row 3, -1, 1 times -1 is -1, plus 1 is 0. -3 times -1 is 3. 3 minus 4 is -1. 1 times -1 is -1. -1 plus 2 is 1. -1 times 1 is -1. Plus 0 is -1. All right. For this next one, I'm just going to multiply, to change row 2, I'm going to multiply by -1/5, and that's going to make it into a 1. So row 1 is not changing. But row 2, 0 times -1/5 is 0. -5 times -1/5 is 1. 5 times -1/5 is -1. And -5 times -5 is 1. And now we're going to rewrite our last row. And then last, to get rid of, because now we have 1, 1, which is good. We got to make this a 0. So the last thing we're going to do, so for row 3, To make that negative 1 is 0, we're going to add row 2 to row 3. All right, so for row 1, that does not change. For row 2, that will not change. But then for row 3, 0 plus 0 is 0, 1 minus 1 is 0, negative 1 plus 1 is 0, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So again, we get one of those special cases. If you look at the third row, the left side is all zeros. And on the right side, we have a 0. 0 does equal 0. That's a true statement. So we have our solution as infinitely many solutions. And that's all you need to know for those Gaussian ones.